So this is Gavin doing Minerval Arts, and I hear Mark Lefevre and Manuel and Michael Sartori being interested in a project. And it seems like there is overlap with this job to be done that I am trying to get feedback on. The job to be done is facilitating participatory and perspectival transformation, which is perhaps what each of us do, and each of us should do as individuals. And then we can take our strengths and weaknesses and skills to work together to become more productive and increase the amount of fruit. And so I would like y'all's opinion, Michael Sartori, Mark Lefevre, Manuel. I'm soliciting your opinion about that job to be done. So that's the number one. What do you think about that job to be done? I arrived at it because Chad mentioned reciprocal opening. So I found Vervaeke talking about reciprocal opening and agape. And at the end, he mentioned perspectival and participatory transformation. So beyond that, I have a set of strengths and weaknesses and skills. And Chad and I have agreed that there needs to be leadership. I think we all can agree on that. Let me know if I'm wrong and if Chad's wrong. I added on, we need to try and recognize how leadership should change. I think that's a good point. And we should try to facilitate, right? We're trying to do this job to be done or mission statement. We need to facilitate working with other people. We don't want to do it all by ourselves. So, my skill is software engineering, and I know Mark has skill in that area as well. So what I started doing is I went to Figma and I started laying out some wireframes. And so I could invite you all to a team on Figma, and you could help develop wireframes for a application that runs in a browser or on a mobile phone. And so the first thing I did, and I'm not great at this, but I can learn how to do it. But in the spirit of the job to be done, I want to facilitate other people participating. Those people who go to an app and say, this app is terrible, the user experience is terrible, those are people who could participate. And when you participate in this way, you're actually developing a skill, which is valuable. And that's to Michael Sartori's project. It's right. He wants to focus on construction, but the thing is when he talks about it, I'm thinking, and I think Mark probably thinks the same way, it's like no matter what you are doing as an employee, you can be growing spiritually, right? And so there is an opportunity to do the thing that Michael Sartori wants to do with construction and trade, and you can do that with UI and UX design and software engineering. So, yeah, what do you think about the job to be done? Would you be interested in looking at UI and UX for an application? And the only thing I did is I created a menu. What does the menu look like? I like to start at the top. And my menu right now, I was struggling between naming the whole thing harbor or port, because I am thinking about an estuary, and Griswold Grimm is thinking about each Discord server being a ship with a captain. And I'm thinking about a harbor or a port because you can go to this place and you can onboard right? And then once you onboard, there can be an on-ramp for people who are there. And so this place allows people to discover what's available, facilitating perspectival and or participatory transformation. And maybe it's not and or, maybe it's clearly and. And so the menu at the top level is something like interest, and I call those fleets. I'm just sticking with the theme or the metaphor. There are fleets, and then there are ships. And so a ship can be part of different fleets. Like there could be a fleet that's the reading, like, and maybe you have a book that people on your ship are reading together and can participate together. And maybe it's writing, like Chad is doing Peter Pan. Maybe it's software engineering, like it's kind of what I'm interested in. Maybe it's construction, and that's what Michael Sartori is interested in. Maybe it's Hebrew Bible study, which is what Jacob Faccirecci is interested in. And then each of us have multiple interests, so we're not just doing that, but we can, like, I'm reading a book that I could be doing with other people, and I'm doing software engineering, which I could be doing with other people. So I'm in more than one fleet. And so many fleets or ships, that's like your Discord server. And, you know, that's where you describe your goals. That's where you help onboard people to let them know who's the captain and who's the moderators of the Discord server. And, you know, here are the examples of people who got removed from the ship because they did X, Y, or Z. And then there's because you want to delegate, ideally each person who gets on the ship will be self-moderating, and you can delegate to the individual, and so you onboard them so they know how to participate. And then you have captains, right? So there's captains on each ship. I'm thinking about, you know, Kara Nodrick. That's a captain. Karen Wong is a captain. Like, we have all these captains. And, you know, there are also crew. There's people in the crew. They're kind of like audience. But they might be participating in some way and experiencing something that's beneficial. And like the question for those people are, it's like, why do you like this ship? And that's your advertisement. That's part of your advertisement to get people to come on board, right? Maybe it's your advertisement for why people should give you money. So, you know, I don't know the boundary for the number of fleets or interests or the number of ships or groups or the number of corresponding captains, and maybe even there's different hierarchies on each ship. So this is where I'm at, and I'm trying to participate, and this is the way I'm doing it. And this is Minerval Arts, because Minerval Arts for me is it's like it corresponds with martial arts. It is a counterpart for the mind, where you can cultivate your character. And so I think that is deeply integrated with what Michael Sartori is talking about when he's talking about a trade school where people can cultivate their character by developing a valuable skill set. And everything we do is an opportunity for us to cultivate our character. So this is an invitation. You're welcome to comment. You're welcome to click the link in my Discord server, which is a bit of a mess. You're welcome to respond with your own video, kind of like the way Chad did it. So I appreciate your time and attention, and let me know if you're interested in cooperating and, you know, discussing about discussing these ideas and arriving at things that we can agree on. So I'm working with Chad, and we have a list of agreements. I mentioned some of them here. If there's something I said that you just clearly want to say no about and you disagree on, just please let me know if you disagree. Otherwise, I will be Yeah, in the description of this video, I'm going to copy the agreements that Chad and I have already. That way they are explicit, and the job to be done will be there, and it will be explicit, and I'll have information in the description. So thank you. Love God, love people. Thy will be done. You know, that's really the goal. But this job to be done that I'm mentioning is probably easier to comprehend. It is more inclusive. Thank you.